Coach, how you doing?
RJ, I'm doing great, buddy. Good to see you.
Hey, it sounds like you've been getting the work in because as I was talking about before we started the show, you're getting a little hoarse there, Coach. What's it been like for you preseason camp?
Well, we just had practice number 12 today. So, yeah, my voice is a little bit raspy, but that's pretty typical for this time of year.
I like it, Coach. So one of the things I was noticing as I was preparing for this interviews, Indiana finished 2020 ranked for a program record 10 consecutive weeks, including a number 12 final ranking from the Associated Press, the highest final ranking it's had since 1967. And you're coming into a season where you're ranked in the preseason poll for the first time since we landed on the moon. Like, how did you do that in 4 years at Indiana?
Well, you know what? I got a great staff and I got an awesome team that bunch of guys that came here and believed. You know, they bought into the vision that we've established here, and it's been pretty awesome. It's been a very deliberate climb. But yeah, I think it was just about changing the mindset. You know, we from the very beginning, we had to create a different mindset here, and we had to create belief. And so that's been the goal all along is to change the way we view about ourselves, how we do things on a daily basis, and then ultimately, you know, how we're viewed, and that changes the expectations for your program. So, but at the end of the day, I just wanted players and coaches that believed.
A lot of coaches want players and coaches who believe, and a lot of coaches will tell me, I'm about changing the culture, or they'll have kids that say, we're going to change the culture at this program. Yeah. I can count on one hand how many times I've seen that happen, Coach. Mm-hmm. What is it that you are saying to your kids, to your staff, that you think is clicking at an Indiana school that I don't think I'm coming out of speaking out of school here, hadn't had the best football tradition?
Yeah, you know, we have not. And especially in the lifetime of our players, you know, all the kids that we're recruiting, you know, since they've been, you know, aware of college football, we have not. And so that was a challenge for sure. But at the same time, you know, we just wanted to create the vision and the belief that if we all could come together and make this about the guys around them, which is the LEO, you know, culture we built, stands for love each other. And from the very beginning, even before I became the head coach, my first year here, I was the defensive coordinator, and you know, just tried to establish a mindset that it's not about me. And if you get a whole bunch of guys that don't care who gets the credit, and everybody takes accountability for themselves and responsibility for their jobs and the things that we ask them to do within our program, and they truly learn that, man, this is a team game. And when the team makes sacrifices, and when the team truly loves one another, cares about each other, and plays for each other, and does things and is willing to make those sacrifices for the guy beside me, because that's a choice that you make, then I think something special starts happening. And that's how it began. And that was intentional for sure. And then try to find coaches that believed that and believed in that culture and wanted to buy into that. And then players that believed in that. And then you got to go recruit kids to come here that have the talent to help you win Big Ten football games. You know, so it's been didn't happen overnight, but it's all about relationships to me.
Well, Coach, I wanted to speak to that recruiting for just a little bit, because I don't again think I'm saying anything you don't know, that Indiana at one point is recruiting against Toledo and Miami of Ohio for players. And now you're recruiting with a first team All-American at cornerback in your back pocket and 2 third-team All-Americans in your back pocket, showing that you can develop not just kids that want to play in the NFL, but also can stand out in the sport that you coach, as opposed to what the NFL thinks of them. What is it like for you to go into living rooms now that we can go into living rooms, and talk to players and kids about what Indiana football can do for them?
Well, I think that the power has come at this point in the ability to say, you know, this is what we've done, you know, and several years ago it was, hey, we were trying to get this young man and his family to believe in something we haven't done yet. That's something that we believed we could do if they would just come and help us do it. And so now we have tangible evidence of players, as you just mentioned, that have come here with that belief, whether they were, you know, supposed to be whatever level, you know, in their ranking system coming out of high school. We had guys at all different levels, and a lot of them were not projected to be high-end guys, but they came here, they bought in, they were developed when they got here physically, emotionally, mentally, and now they're playing at a high level. And so now you go into that living room and say, hey, we want you to be the next, this guy. We want you to be to the next, because this is what we've done. And we've been able to have a track record of not just maybe what this program did with the previous staff, or, a lot of programs have a lot of great things that happened in the past that we don't have as a collective group. And so we can't say that, but my whole charge with that is, hey, we're the ones coaching you right now. It doesn't matter what's happened in the past. It doesn't matter what happened here 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. All it matters is who's going to be developing you right now. And so I think that's resonated with families. And also it's an environment that, we're going to value them way more as a person. And we're going to love them way more as an individual than as a football player. And that's not just recruiting speak. That's not just, hey, that sounds great. Our players will tell them, and our players' parents will tell the recruits' parents and their families that is how it is here. And we do value them more as an individual person than what they can do for us as a football player. And I think that resonates with these families, because they want their sons to be in an environment where they're going to be developed as a man first, and they're going to be challenged academically to do things the right way in the classroom. And then at the end of the day, when I think you take care of yourself in the classroom and as an individual person, I think the football side of it takes care of itself.
Coach, I want to take a moment and quote you back to you for just a second here. As we counted in The Athletic, I'm not bashful about talking about this. When I first took over, I would not allow our team to break anything down on Big Ten champs, because I had heard us doing it before and they felt like they were empty words. I didn't feel like there was belief in those words, and it was more negative than positive, that it was just something you said and then everybody's jobs were off. This is the first off season I've given our players permission to break it down on Big Ten champs. I got to believe now, Coach, that is the statement of intent for you. Why do you believe that your kids have earned the right, the privilege, I should say, to break down on Big Ten champs?
Well, it does have to be earned, and that was the whole point. And you have to have a work ethic to back it up. You have to have, a lifestyle to back it up. You have to have your actions have to back it up, because words become hollow when they don't match, what you actually do. And so I didn't see, a team that was doing the little things that it was going to take to be able to be, quote unquote, Big Ten champs one day. And so that's why I didn't want them to say it unless I felt like it was genuinely realistic, number one, and number two, something that they have earned the right to say. And so to me, that was kind of the big issue, other than just, everybody, like you said, everybody wants to believe that you can do certain things, but your actions have to match. You have to create daily habits. And so we had to change the way we did everything here. The way we lifted weights, the way we practice, the way we watch film, the way we do walkthroughs, the way we do all the little things that you do to help yourself be successful on game day. And so you've got now several years of that. And then now you started getting some breakthrough wins on the field that put you in position. We finished number 2 in the Big Ten East last year. And that way, our goal was to win the Big Ten East. And so we fell short, but we've not been in that position since they've had divisions at Indiana. And so to me, now that next step is to be able to now use that as a visionary goal that we have for this program, even though it's always been there on the peripheral. But now I believe they have a realistic opportunity to say it and then go live it out on game day.
It's a loaded conference, Coach, and y'all got a loaded division. But one of the things that I took away from last season is you're down 35-7 against what becomes the Big Ten champs and a team that plays for a national championship. Your kids storm back to where Ohio State holds on to this 42-35, but you have a quarterback that put up 495 in passing yards, which as a defensive guy, I really want to know how you feel about that. But also your kids got to see, no, we can play with these dudes. And we were right there. We had an opportunity to beat them. As a matter of fact, if there's not a pick six from Penix, like you're probably playing that game in overtime, Coach. Like how close do you think your kids are?
Well, like you said, you break down that game, and I've played them every year I've been here, and we've had some battles with them where we've been able to be close at halftime, and then even into the third quarter, even as recent as 2017, and then they pulled away in the fourth quarter, and they've traditionally pulled away from us, and in 2019 it wasn't. That was probably the biggest margin of victory, and just flat out, it never really felt like we competed with them in that year, but then when you look at that game and you see how our players battle the way that they did and the way they fought back. And you're right, we had the ball twice in the fourth quarter, our last two possessions late in the fourth quarter, where we had a chance to go take the ball down the field, go and to tie the game up and then decide there what happens next. And so you have to look at that and look at that game, and people can evaluate the game however they want. The bottom line was we had a chance with the, the clock running down to go win the game. And so to me, it was a major step for our program, even though, there was no such thing as a, moral victory for me at that point. We went there to go win the game, and I addressed that afterwards and pretty openly and honestly. And I just felt like that was what those guys needed to hear. I was proud of the fight. I was proud of the character that they showed in that moment when it would have been really easy to just, throw in the towel and just kind of, cash it in. And they did not. And I think that to me showed a whole lot about where our program has come to. And we've not had that situation. We've never had it where we've come back and made it close at the end since I've been here. And so, and like I said, you just take those moments and you teach from them. And to me, that's what we tried to do, was be able to make it a teachable moment of how we can in the future, find a way to win games like that. Because just like we had to find a way to win the Penn State game and try to find a way to beat a team like Michigan, try to find a way to beat a team like Wisconsin on the road, which we haven't done for a long, long time, and to win those close games against perennial top teams in this conference. And so to me, that's where we are. And so there's no question we are close, but like you mentioned, we play a brutally tough schedule. We're in a great division. It's very challenging. And then we play other really, really good Big Ten teams cross divisional. And then we have a really, really talented non-conference opponent that we're going to play against. So bottom line is we're going to have to be at our very best each and every week. And that's really the whole goal, is play your best football each week. And if that's what you do, then you know what? You can hold your head high and know you're doing things the right way.
Coach, it's that last sentence that I want to focus on here, because your biography in particular, I find fascinating, and it is football. Like, you defense coordinator at Armwood in Florida before coming to head coach. You coached in Jackson, Tennessee at Lambuth. You coached in Iowa at Drake. You've coached at every level there is to coach at in this game. Is football to you, or is there something that you're able to take, especially as a defensive coach, everywhere you go? Because your defenses routinely have been, I'm not ashamed to say it, they've been kicking butt, Coach. Like, it seems like everywhere you go, you can put a defense on the field. What is it that you know that the rest of us don't?
Well, football is football. I do believe that. Like I said, I've coached at a small high school level and, big time high school level. I've coached at small college and now, major college of the Big Ten and the SEC. And so, I think people are people. How you build a team is consistent. It's relative per the level, of who you're going, who you're playing against, and the how you motivate, how you lead, how you get someone to chase after greatness in their life. And then as a football player, that part doesn't change. And so, I'm a defensive guy. There's no doubt about it. And I've been really blessed to be able to have a huge part in being able to help some defenses get a whole lot better wherever we've gone. And that's, as a defensive coordinator, a lot of the time, sometimes even as a position coach, to be able to help change an environment and the culture and just to bring an energy and a belief and a way and an intensity to how we're going to play together. Because as I will continue to say, the best team wins. That's the key. It's getting your guys to play together, to believe in each other, to trust each other, to trust the coaches. And to me, it's the bottom line. It doesn't matter where we've gone. It's building relationships. It's building a bond with these players when they know you love them, you care about them, way beyond football. And that has been the common denominator from day one, whether it's been Temple Heights, Christian school down there, my first job, to Armwood, all the way up to Indiana where I was at Marion, and then Ben Davis for all those years. And then the college journey that we went on from 10 years, going to, like you mentioned, every level. I've coached every level except junior college, in this sport. And so basically, it's loving people. It's caring about these guys. And it's holding them to a high standard of behavior, to a high standard of preparation, and ultimately a high standard of performance. And we are relentless with the pursuit of that. And that will never change. And the energy level that we have, it stays up here. I'm going to coach that way. It's going to be passionate. It's going to be fiery. It's going to be intense. That's just all I know. And that's what I believe in. And I do have a defensive mindset. There's no doubt about that. And that's how I coach. And I'm just trying to be me and be real and be genuine and just coach with my hair on fire every single time we take the field. And that's how I want our teams to play.
it's contagious, coach. The term that folks use when they talk about me, for instance, is energy. And I push that back. I say it's charisma, because that's what I get from you. I get tons of charisma. And that's why I'm interested in this question. Who are your mentors? Who did you learn to do this from?
Well, first of all, my dad, he was my high school coach. And, and to me, the biggest thing from him was the work ethic, the toughness, the attention to detail, the relentless, approach to things. And that was number one. And then I just think, as you go through, Dick Dolahan was a major influencer on me. Ben Davis High School head coach that hired me there, the Hall of Fame coach of that program, and just learned so many great things about him and or from him. And then, he was a big person that really pushed me or encouraged me to make the jump to college and pulled me into his office and said, I just think you're wired to be a college coach. And so I always had that desire. It's just, sometimes you don't know, how do I even make that happen? So, and I just feel like that, people along the way, and, Chris Creighton's been a real influencer on me as well. I coached, he hired me at Wabash and then again at Drake, and, his intensity and fire and passion burns deep, and he's a tremendous leader of men. And so those guys have really helped shape me, as a person in regards to some style of things. But I think a lot of it is just, it's just me being me, and I played with a ton of intensity and fire and passion as a player. And I just believe that's, I know in my heart, this is what I was created to do. And when you know your purpose in life, it creates passion, and it creates conviction, and it allows you to function at a high level of energy. Why? Because, man, I know why I was placed here. And it gives you so much confidence to go chase whatever the good Lord puts in your heart. And so I feel that every single day, and it drives me and it motivates me.
Coach Allen got a Southeastern sensibility about him. It's one of the first things I pick up from you, Coach. And I got to ask this, as a guy who coached at Florida, coached in Arkansas, coached in Mississippi, when you were offered the job at Indiana, and you told Miss Tracy, like, what was her reaction to all of this? Like, we're going to be Indiana now? Is that what we're doing?
Well, the good news is this is my home, and that made it a strong pull. But I will say, we were living in Tampa, Florida at the time, which is a really nice place to live from a weather perspective. And we've lived there 2 different times. And so the idea that we were coming back to Indiana, she was excited for the opportunity that the position created at IU and to be a defensive coordinator in the Big Ten. But to be honest, it's hard to move from the Tampa Bay area. We lived right there in Harbor Island in that nice little spot. So, but yeah, she's a trooper. She's amazing. And, as she said very, very eloquently, that when we pursued this college dream, my dream became the family's dream. And she was the driver of that, because she, was the one with all of our kids when they had to make all the moves and all the tears and all the tough saying goodbye to your friends that they've established. Because we moved 7 times in 10 years, and that whole journey from when I left high school, where I came back to Indiana as the DC. So, but you know what? This is home. Bloomington's a beautiful, amazing place. And this is my home state. So it means a lot to me.
Now, Coach, I'm always going to try to put an emphasis on your partner there, because for me, watching what coaches do, I always think, man, their other half has to be doing so much work so that they can be great doing this on the sidelines. So when you give her those sorts of flowers, if you will, it warms my heart, Coach. I need to tell you that, because there's nothing like it. It's nothing like it.
No doubt.
I wanted to ask this, though. Why is the term for your 2021 team Chase? Why did you settle on that as a term for you?
Yeah, so we're a big one-word program, and so got that from John Gordon and his one-word book that he co-authored. And so every year we come up with a one word. And for me, I just always take whatever I feel like our team needs. I pray about it, really try to have a good feel for our guys and what's next for our program. And, we finished the bowl game, and that was a disappointment. And I knew we had a lot of guys coming back, and there was going to be high expectations for the team. And I'm like, how do we get this team to play and to be from here to take them to another level, which is a very difficult next step to do. There's no doubt about it. And so I just felt like that word embodied everything I wanted. So I went through and got the definition for chase, and it's an earnest or frenzied seeking after something desired. And that's the definition that I put up on on the big screen when we had our team meeting back in January when the team returned from being away after the bowl game. And so also broke it down a step further, and that the earnest piece there is an intense conviction, okay, which is a very powerful, I think, way to talk about how you have to chase after something with an intense conviction. And then the frenzied word is the fiery, passionate pursuit of something. So these are purposeful words that we picked here to describe how we want to chase after greatness. And it's not just as a football player. So I want our guys to be able to identify personally, academically, and then as a football player, how they're going to chase after greatness in their life. I met with them one-on-one, charted that whole thing out, and wrote it all down. They wrote it all down for me. I put it in my computer so I can hold them accountable for those things they want to do. So to me, it's not just about, hey, we're going to be it's another year. We got a bunch of guys back. We're going to automatically just be better. Okay. It doesn't work like that. We play at such a high level in this league and in this country that if we don't get better, then you're going to slip back. And so I want this team to keep building and keep growing. And so to me, that word to me embodied, I want our team to chase after greatness every day, like a starving lion is chasing after its prey. That's the intensity. That's the fiery passion I want our guys to approach this with. And to me, that's how we dealt with that. And so now our guys have bought into it. They've all got their own one words that they pick as well, but that's our one word for 2021 as a team, and that's chase.
Coach Tom Allen is chasing at Indiana. Coach, thank you so much. I know you got a big one up against Iowa to start the season. I appreciate your time.
RJ, it's been a pleasure. Have an awesome day. Leo.
You too, sir. Hey, kinfolk, I appreciate you for watching. Subscribe here and ring the bell so you don't miss the latest upload to the channel. Also, be sure to watch more videos here, like FS1 Studio shows and the best from Fox Sports and Fox Sports Digital.